B study, they follow the same guideline for B and GCP, for bioequivalence and GCP as European Union. These are the guidelines which they follow. And the requirement is that the reference product has to be obtained in Australia. This is one of their requirements. But where an overseas reference product is used, the applicant must be able to demonstrate that the overseas and the Australian reference products are identical. So this is something which needs to be done. So we need to do a comparative dissolution study and also the complete analysis of the reference product. So all packaging must be in English. Only sponsor details are mandatory to be printed. If you sell your product in Australia, there is no requirement to mention the manufacturer details. So only your sponsor details are mandatory to be printed on the pack along with the Australian registration number. And the package insert has to be there, and they also call it what they call it is a consumer medicine information. There are some specific requirements which TGA have. They have an approved colorant list, so it would be good if you can check the product before for whether you violate this, whether you have used only the approved colorants. A patent certification is required that you are not infringing any patent. And they have a guidance called guidance for TGO. They call TGO1, Therapeutic Goods Order 101, which is a standard for tablet, capsules, and pills. So it would be good to refer to this guideline because they have some additional requirements for your finished product specifications. Which can be different or in addition to the pharmacopoeia. So it would be good to have a look at this, to study this guideline and ensure that you prepare this, that your spec complies to this guideline. And I mean, if you which may have additional information to the, if it is to your current specs, or additional changes in the specification for a particular test. The best practices would be to have a pre-submission planning phase where the sponsor lodges details of a proposed submission at least 2.5 months prior to lodgement of the actual submission associated dossier. Once you do that, then the TGA uses this information submitted in the pre-submission phase to identify evaluation resource requirements, time frames, and key milestones for the assessment and determination of the submission. So the reason for this pre-submission meeting is so TGA also prepares themselves, to identify and to provide the resources, to ensure what time frames would be possible to get you the registration and what will be the key milestone for that particular submission. And prepare in CTD format and other TGA requirements like I mentioned, like TGO 101 and other requirements like approved colorants and all, so that so that the quality of dossier submitted is very high. So TGA also undertake comprehensive process to check the submission dossier prior to commencement of the evaluation process to ensure compliance with TGA regulatory requirement. So TGA would also on their own ensure that the submission is effective, and if not, then they would immediately return the dossier back to you. And TGA always keeps on implementing new business processes to manage effectively the workflows associated with submission, assessment, and determination. So TGA also considers this to be a business, like a business entity, consider TGA to be a business entity, and they also implement new business processes. And instead of two different assessment phases, first assessment and second assessment, TGA can also consolidate both the deficiencies in both the phases in a single one, and request the sponsor to provide as a single reply within a defined time frame. So this helps to shorten the time frame. This all depends. This all comes up when you do a pre-submission meeting with the TGA, and then this all can be defined at that time.